Pass Around the Smile is like your go-to friend, the one that lifts you up and backs you till the end. She's there to guide and inspire, challenge and teach, and remind you that your best self isn't out of reach. Self-development, manifestation, self-love and more, it's time to trust the process more than ever before. Welcome to Pass Around the Smile, the podcast. I'm your host, Cleo Massey, and I am so glad you're here. Let the magic begin. Hello and welcome back to the Pass Around the Smile podcast for 2024. I am so excited to be back. It feels so right being in front of the microphone right now and connecting with you guys again. I had the most incredible start to 2024 doing the Manifest Magic course, which I know so many of you did, and I actually did not expect it to be that exciting and uplifting, and I definitely did not expect so many of you to actually do the course and to be continuing to do the course. If you didn't know, I ended up leaving the course open because so many people didn't sign up to do the actual live Manifest Magic course, and they were like, I still want to do it and just catch up on the recordings of the live. So I was like, well, your wish is my command. I will leave it open, and it has continued to, find the people that need it. So if you need a 5-day online course that covers all things manifestation, self and spiritual development that's run by me, it's still open. But I just want to get straight into this podcast. I have had so many of you reach out being like, when's it coming back? And it just makes me so happy that you guys love my podcast. Like, what the hell? It is so cool that you listen to me and that what I say you like. It's still just so weird. Not weird, really cool. It's really cool. I am honestly, Anyway, oh my gosh. Okay, I just need to get into it. The truth is, as you may be able to hear from my voice, I'm a bit of a hot mess right now. I am now 30 weeks pregnant. I am large and in charge. My feet right now are so swollen. My ankles are throbbing. And I'm actually standing up doing this podcast on those sore feet because when I sit down, my indigestion's so bad and I would probably let out little burps all through the podcast. So I was like, you either have sore feet while you're recording or you literally burp in your listeners' ears. The other thing is, I just wanted to say, if you hear something in the background, it is the fan. I was like, I either don't record a podcast, and like I said, I've had so many of you message me being like, I'm so excited for it to come back, I'm waiting for a new episode. I was like, I either do not record a podcast episode because it's too hot in my dad's studio, or I just do it with the fan on and there might be a little bit of background noise. Even with the fan on, I am still sweating. I'm feeling this heat. I live on the Gold Coast, if you didn't know, and it has just been so humid. Oh my God. Wow. Anyway, I'm not complaining, by the way, about my pregnancy symptoms. Anything other than trimester 1 I can handle, and it's just funny at this point. I got Luke to fill me up a bucket of ice last night to put my feet in, but then I put my feet in it and my feet cramped up straight away and it was so painful. So that didn't really work. Anyway, if anyone has any remedies for swollen feet in pregnancy that hurt to stand and walk, please let me know. I don't even fit any of my shoes anymore. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the purpose of this episode is, of course, to uplift and inspire you, especially during January. It is one of my favorite months just because it feels magical and exciting, and I don't know, personally, I'm always filled with so much hope. And what I have been getting comfortable in is the unknown. I think it's really exciting moving into the unknown and not necessarily planning and not setting these really specific goals, which may bring on that pressure of having to attain that goal to be happy or to be successful or to be abundant or healthy. I think that's kind of, for me anyway, that's out with the old. That is the kind of old stagnant way of doing things where it's I am putting conditions on how I feel. But I'm not about that here anymore. I definitely, don't get me wrong, I still love setting goals. I love setting manifestations, of course, but I love leaving them a little bit more open so that you are able to let the universe know that if the universe has something better for you, that you are open to that as well. Because what I have learned only just recently is I've had these specific goals, manifestations, I've been working toward them, and something was blocked. Two things. One thing was I was not connected to myself at all. And the second thing was that I got fixated on that one outcome. And I know we've talked about this before, but there's another element that I have found comes into this, which is the blockage that we put out when we want something because we think it is the best outcome for us. However, it's likely that there is an even better outcome far beyond your wildest imaginations. And we often don't like to visualize these big, huge, incredible dreams because maybe we don't want to get our hopes up, or we also don't feel as though we are deserving, or we don't feel like it's possible. And that's okay. I'm not saying that you have to go and ask for, the most craziest, biggest, wildest thing that could ever happen to you. I'm not necessarily saying that. What I'm saying is, with the goals and the manifestations that you set, please just leave them open to even more success, to even better things, to even better news, a greater email, a better connection, a more amazing holiday, whatever it is. We have to be open, because what we're doing by getting so attached to the one outcome, if we actually do believe that we're good enough for that outcome, which is actually kind of rare because a lot of the times we are asking for something and we actually don't believe that we deserve it, and that's another reason why you might block it. But let's say that you do really believe that you deserve that outcome, you're also only saying to the universe that you deserve that outcome. So you're kind of putting your walls up. So you need to let go of that resistance and be like, I deserve this. And this would be really, really cool if it happened and so exciting. But I'm also getting comfortable in the unknown. I'm getting excited in that hopeful feeling that I'm getting and taking advantage of at the start of this year, that I actually may be worth more. And maybe there is something so exciting on the horizon for me that I couldn't even picture, because it's that big. It's that exciting. So I urge you, be open. Just be open to flow. A lot of my Manifest Magic course was around connection, because what I have learned, and I had only learned it when I lost my connection with myself, with my higher self, and with my higher powers as well, was that you cannot manifest successfully if you don't have that connection to yourself. You just can't. And when you do have the connection to yourself, that is when everything flows. So I really do think that the connection to yourself is the kind of root of what we need to work on in our self-development journeys to allow everything to flow and unfold for us. That is when it just gets magical. That's when things become easy. That's when we do less and attract more. That's when we don't chase. Things just come to us. So we're going to talk about connection today, how I kind of lost mine, how I got it back. But I did just kind of want to do a little catch up as well, just because it's been a while. And I wanted to talk to you about my personal goals for the year, because I thought it might inspire you, it might resonate, and it might not, because I'm at a very different life point, I guess, to maybe many of you. Obviously, as I said, I'm pregnant. So what I did this year, which was weird for me, and I really had to work really hard on letting go of that control, is I didn't set any goals. It's really weird for me. As I mentioned before, I'm enjoying getting used to the unknown and the hope of exciting new things, new feelings, new experiences. And I think that a lot of the time when we're scared, usually because of change, we block that. However, if we let go and drop those walls down of resistance, like I mentioned, that's when these changes become refreshing instead of scary. So you don't obviously have to be pregnant and going through this life change. You may be going through something like changing careers or just connecting to yourself again. You might be starting uni, finishing school. You might be looking for a new relationship or wanting to make more money, starting a new project for yourself. Whatever it is, I really think that this can help you. I really like this quote I found. I actually don't know who it's by, but it says, "One must step out of the known into the unknown to truly know." So I really have resonated with that lately, because what I found was I was starting to want to control every element of my life, plan how everything was going to go, set these really specific goals. And I really did know in the back of my subconscious that if I didn't get those goals, I would be disappointed. So really, on reflection, I was kind of setting myself up for failure. Because the thing is, even if we do get these goals, yes, it's going to feel good and amazing. You're going to feel so proud, but then you're just going to set another goal and the cycle's going to start again. And then that excitement and that proud feeling diminishes quite quickly. And that's just natural. That's just the cycle of life. And on the other hand, if we didn't make that goal, we're left feeling deflated, defeated, not good enough, like a failure. So I realized that especially this year, becoming a mum, I can't set goals because I don't know how I'll be. I don't know how I'll feel. I don't know what I'll want to do or where I want my energy to go. So I purposely set no goals. I really had to give up that control. While I still have general manifestations like feeling empowered, feeling calm, feeling really happy, I guess, just genuine, happiness and empowerment and that sense of peace and calm, I would say that they're my goals. But they're not specific to something that I have to attain where I'm leaving room for disappointment. I don't want any kind of disappointed energy that I'm feeling to go to my baby. So I thought, I am not going to set myself up for any kind of failure right now. And I'm really going to leave everything open and get comfortable in the unknown. I know I've said that like 3 times now, but there is something refreshing about the unknown. And like that quote I read before, the unknown is where we actually find the answers. Because if we are struggling to connect with ourselves, if we are struggling to know what is our next best move, if we're struggling to know what actually makes us happy, what we tend to do is we tend to go out and seek it from other people, or from social media, or from what the news says, or from what other people are doing, or from things like, well, I'll be happy if I have money, or I'll be happy if I am in a relationship. But they're not really the things that are going to make you happy if you're not happy within yourself already. So we must get to know ourselves on a deeper level. And to do that, we have to step into the unknown. And we have to get comfortable with that. Yes, it can be scary taking that leap of faith, being like, you know what, I actually don't know what I'm doing right now. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where this is going to lead me. But can you also see and appreciate how exciting that is? Because when we let go of that attachment, we're saying to the universe, all right, I'm letting go. And this is similar to my story of when I first wanted to start my Pass Around the Smile events. I had this vision, but I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what it meant. And to be completely honest with you, I didn't actually think I wanted it either at that time, because I wanted something completely different. But what I did was I finally let go. I surrendered. I trusted the process, and I stepped into the unknown, not knowing where it could lead me. And look where it has led me now. It is my life purpose. It fills me up like nothing else. So looking back at that, I was able to do that like so many years ago. And then I kind of lost myself along the way a little bit, but now I'm trying to do it again as I step into motherhood. And again, you can relate this to where you are at in your life right now with so many different things. Also, if you are a goal setter, if you thrive off setting really specific goals and really specific manifestations, please keep it up. Go for it. I still created a vision board. I still have those general feelings, which essentially are goals that I want to create for myself this year. But what I'm doing by instead having a feeling as a goal is I'm saying to the universe, these are the feelings I'm manifesting, and I'm allowing you to bring whatever experiences, things, people, circumstances that will make me feel those feelings to me. But yes, what I'm saying is, if you are a goal setter, please keep those goals, but just keep in mind that when you get to that part where you're like, I need to let it go, I need to surrender, can you please promise me that you'll just be open to more and open to the idea that maybe you deserve better. And maybe by having this goal, it's actually limiting you because you're meant to do something completely different. I know that's wild to hear because we think that we know what we need and what we want, but often we don't. I didn't for so many years. So you guys probably have heard my pregnancy podcast where I let you guys know that I had become very disconnected to myself. And to be honest, as the owner of Pass Around the Smile, a girl who preaches self-connection and who loves meditation and journaling, this was really hard for me to admit because I always had this vision of me when I, got pregnant, that I would be this, wholesome, meditating queen, every day meditating, journaling, being so connected to myself and my baby. I'd be seeing visions and feeling these incredible things, but the reality was the complete opposite. So I felt defeated in many, many different ways. But the worst part of it was there was no connection to myself, no connection to my baby, no connection to my higher self, and definitely no connection to my higher powers, which was making me feel really quite sad, to be honest. And what I noticed with this lack of connection was anything that I was trying to manifest was not working. And that's when I realized, connection to yourself is paramount when you are wanting to live a life that flows, when you are wanting to live a life where you can manifest your dreams. You have to be connected to yourself. But connection to yourself is hard because we get so distracted by outside noise, by what we should be doing, by what other people say that we should or that they want us to be doing. If you want to hear more about this, you can listen to my Listening to Your Heart the Listen to Your Heart podcast episode. I do have a Listen to Your Heart meditation, which is great. Toot my own horn. But I meant the podcast episode. Anyway, first of all, I want to tell you guys how connected I used to be, because you may be this connected now, or you may want to get to that point. And I think my story will really help you. So please just grab elements within this story and journey, because it goes here, there, and everywhere, that will help you and resonate with you. And just trust that my words are just going to wash over you how they need to. So it was back a few years ago. I was so in tune. Like, I was meditating, I wouldn't say daily, but maybe every second day, journaling all the time. I knew exactly where I was headed. I knew what I wanted. I knew what made me happy. I was setting boundaries effortlessly. I was really just living in my power and in my truth, and my manifestations were reflecting that. I would literally write something down in my journal and I would manifest it just like that. It was a really exciting and magical time in my life, and I really do believe it all happened how it was supposed to. So I could start by sharing all of this with Pass Around the Smile listeners or readers back then. And what I realize now is that the disconnect I felt through pregnancy was also a lesson, which I can now share, which is really exciting too. It's so crazy when you look back at how everything always just happens for a reason. Anyway, so back then I was so connected to the point where I was doing readings for the Pass Around the Smile community, mostly on Zoom. And one example was I was shuffling my cards for this lady, and the cards just became so heavy. Like, the cards in my hands were like they were weighing my hands down. I could barely shuffle them. And I said to this lady, like, what's weighing you down? Like, these cards, they're so heavy. I've never experienced this before. And she's like, I've just had weight loss surgery. And I was like, okay, wow. So when I hung up that call, I journaled about it and I reflected, and I guess I didn't realize how intuitive I was. But I knew that when I was a little kid, I would see auras on people and I could tell the colors straight away and how they were feeling. I did lose that as I kind of grew into my teens, but I knew it was kind of always there. And then what I found as I was doing more readings, and I did always get this with friends and family readings, but I kind of just thought that was because I knew what they were going through. But when I started doing people I didn't know's readings, I would see chakra colors, and those colors would always match up to what they were struggling with or what they wanted to hear about. For example, I was doing a lady, she was overseas, her reading, and I just saw this stream of blue. And I said, what are you holding back? Like, your throat chakra is like not quite right now. And she said, I'm holding on to the biggest family secret ever. And if I, let this family secret out, it's going to, make all of this stuff happen. And obviously I'm not saying people's names or anything. I'm not like giving anything away that is personal information. But that was another time where I was like, wow, I'm so in tune right now. But what I did was I didn't accept it. I didn't open myself up to more. I actually really scared myself, because what I found was when I got off these calls, I was worrying about these people and I was taking on their energy, and it was kind of conflicting with my own energies, and I was feeling really emotionally drained, and I was scared of what I might see after that, if it was something bad with my life, or if it was like something that I needed to tell a friend that I didn't want to be involved with. So I completely blocked my intuition, not really meaning to, but meaning to a little bit. Slowly but surely, I started to lose my gifts. And at the start, I didn't really mind, because as I mentioned before, this intuitive connection that I was feeling to myself and to others almost started to scare me. What I've learned now, of course, is it's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. I just needed to set boundaries. And for me, readings outside of my family and friends now I don't do, and that's okay, but I can still be in tune with my intuition and open to spiritual guidance and signs and coincidences, because what happened is I started to lose all of that. And what I realized when I started to lose all of that was my manifestations were becoming very, very hard to materialize. I was blocked. It wasn't working, and I didn't understand why until it fully came back. So it came back a little bit before pregnancy, where I felt really in tune again. I was doing readings. I was seeing things, not seeing things like I'm not like a complete psychic or anything like that. I'm just in tune as you all are. We are all intuitive. It's just whether or not you tap into it. That's the thing with my cards. Anyone can do card readings for themselves because we are all intuitive. It just is up to you how intuitive you want to be. And I learned that myself by literally blocking it, then bringing it back. Then I got pregnant and sick, and I completely lost it again to the lowest point that I've ever lost it. So I was still quite early in my pregnancy, well, early-ish. I think I was coming out of trimester 1, and I was still really, really sick. But I had this Pass Around the Smile event booked in to speak or to hold a workshop at a retreat. So her name is Taryn. She goes by Namastarin on Instagram. She's absolutely incredible, a really positive person to follow if you're looking for more positive accounts to follow. And she runs these incredible retreats called Bloom Retreats. So she invited me along to do a workshop there, and I was so nervous in the lead up because I was so sick and I didn't know whether or not I would have to cancel. But I really trusted my intuition that was saying, don't cancel, because I hadn't had a feeling of intuition for so long because I'd been so sick and so disconnected. I hadn't journaled, meditated, talked to my higher powers, nothing like that. I don't think I had even been doing card readings, which is very strange for me. Driving down to Byron Bay, I was shaking at the wheel because I was so sick. I was so pale. I got to the retreat, even though it was so early in my pregnancy, I let all of the women know what was going on because I didn't want them to think that I was like hungover or not prepared. They were so supportive and so beautiful. And also I had to like eat through my session so I wouldn't throw up or so I wouldn't feel faint. So I was literally eating these little gummy bears and crackers while I was doing this workshop. But something so strong just wouldn't let me say no to this retreat. Anyway, it was very evident when I walked into this beautiful house how supported I was by these beautiful women. And that was enough to kind of bring me to life a little bit for this workshop. I did the first half of the workshop and then we moved outside for a meditation. And as I was doing the meditation, I kind of put down my script. I was like, why am I reading a script? I don't need to do this. And instead, I kind of made up the meditation as I went, which I now do all the time. I guess I just didn't trust myself enough before. And it was just flowing exactly how I needed it to. And I was starting to feel connected again. And that connection was coming from self-trust. And as I was walking around this patio with these beautiful women all lying down and meditating, I saw this blue light, like the strongest blue light. Then I saw gold light, gold light, gold light, gold light everywhere. Every single woman had a gold light coming out of them, and one woman had a blue light coming out of her, and it was coming out of her throat. And first of all, this gold light that I was looking at was so magical. I was like, what is happening right now? And I had this urge to kind of put my hand up and over everyone. I walked over everyone and I was just trusting. I was like completely, I don't know, it was like I was just being led by intuition. I was finally getting connected again and it felt so incredible. And I was feeling this gold energy and I was giving them all more gold energy. And then I got to this woman and the blue energy was really good, blue energy. It was really vibrant and it was beautiful. It was like aqua, but it was very specific. And I was like, I don't know if I'm making this up in my head. And this is something you might find as you move into being a more intuitive being yourself. You might think, am I making this up? But you're not. You're not. You're powerful. You can see these things. You can feel these things. You've got to trust your intuition. So anyway, we finished the meditation and afterwards I didn't want to single this lovely lady out. So instead I wrote her a little note and I just gave it to her and it said, look, I'm not sure if I'm making this up, but I saw this blue light coming from your throat. It's obviously your throat chakra because blue is the color of your throat chakra. Can you resonate with this? I just felt like I had to tell you. And then she started crying immediately and she told me that she had been struggling with Graves' disease, which is a disease of the thyroid, which is your throat. And she has been on a healing journey that has been really working for her. And we both just stared at each other and we were both just like, whoa, what the hell? Both having very big realizations and self-connective moments, I guess, but for separate reasons. So when I left that retreat, I left feeling so A, proud of myself for going when I was so sick. B, so thankful for these beautiful women who held me and who were like, you eat, girlfriend. If you need to go vomit, you go vomit. There's no judgment here. They gave me time. It was just the best reintroduction to working and to being my spiritual self and holding workshops that I could have ever gotten. So I'm forever thankful to Taryn and her girls at this retreat. But thirdly, my connection was starting to come back. And I don't want you to think oh, yeah, okay, good on you. You have a connection to yourself and your higher powers. It's magical and it's cool and exciting, but that's all it is. No. What I've realized is that a connection to yourself and your higher powers means so much more than just some magical little feelings. It's everything. It starts with connection. That's when everything begins to flow. I did just want to mention I got permission from this lady to tell her story. I don't want you to think if you've ever been to any of my courses or events and opened up to me about something that I am going to all of a sudden spruik about it on my podcast. Just wanted to say that. So from that moment, I knew that the connection that I would feel to myself and my higher powers and my intuition was nothing to be afraid of. So I started to open up to it. Again, open up to the unknown. It kind of all comes back to that in this podcast episode. I was just like ready to ride the wave, go with the flow, see what was coming my way. And what I was really excited about was to start manifesting signs and coincidences into my life again. Because when that happens, that's when I know that, you know, my Nanny Waters is trying to talk to me and my guardian angels are sending me signs, or the universe is like, do this or do that, or don't do this or don't do that. That's when I feel really like, oh, I'm so connected and I have such clear guidance. And it's really, really exciting. So I started to open myself up more to connection. So that retreat was in October. And since then, I've just been doing little things to strengthen that connection. Fast forward to January 1st to the 5th, I obviously held my Manifest Magic course. And 2 of the lives were Q&As where people would ask me questions and I would answer. And I tell you what, some of the answers that I was coming up with, some of the things that I was saying, it didn't even feel like me. It almost like looking back at my answers, I was like, I didn't actually realize that I had that knowledge. So to me, I was speaking through my higher self was speaking through me. My angels, Nanny Waters, they were helping me. They were talking through me. And before anything, that's like a bit nerve-wracking or hard or whatever, I always ask my angels and whoever to speak through love and truth through me. And I always feel really supported with that, or I did before I felt disconnected. And that really came back. So I want you to, next time that you're going in, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm so puffed. I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm like sweaty and I'm puffed. I'm trying to catch my breath, but we're getting through. I hope this is like still nice to listen to. I was speaking through love and trust. And when I opened up and allowed, it was like these other guides, ideas, creative inspiration, it all just came through me. And I'm sure we've all experienced this in some way, shape, or form. Let's say you're an artist and all of a sudden you're just drawing this beautiful picture and it's just coming so effortlessly to you. It probably because you're so connected to yourself, where you should be, where you want to go, and you're allowing spirit to kind of connect through you as well. And I don't want to scare you off by being too woo-woo here. I'm not getting all witchy or anything like that. I just really do believe that we all have the power to connect to energy that protects us and guides us, like the universe. It's so exciting. And this is what allows us to open doors and to move forward and to move into the unknown, taking a leap of faith and seeing where it ends us up. I've also had so many little signs, whether it's just like 333 or 111, little coincidences and synchronicities come into my life since getting connected again that just feel so magical. So I really want to encourage you and give you hope that if you have lost your connection with yourself, it doesn't mean that you have lost it forever. It's normal to go in and out of this flow. You can absolutely gain it back. We are all intuitive. We all have the power to see things and feel things. It's just whether or not you are open to it. And to not be afraid of, you know, what you're seeing and what you're experiencing, because I definitely was. And look, it did teach me some lessons. Like I said, I don't actually do card readings for people I don't know right now, because right now that's just not something I have the capacity for, and that's okay. So I did learn some things, but I didn't need to shut off my intuition completely. I was like, okay, that's enough. I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to know anymore. I'm going to shut it all off. I don't want to experience this. And the universe and my angels were like, okay, well, see ya. But it's all come back and it's all made sense. So what this really taught me was, again, how important connection is. And that really was what Manifest Magic was about. We got into some really deep connection exercises and connection meditations, and the feedback that I have received from this course is like none other. I'm just so grateful that you guys experienced such deep connections with yourself and have so much more clarity to move forward in 2024. So I might leave that episode there. I will give you some little tips and tricks to get connected to yourself again. I don't want to just, tell you my stories and then be like, off you go. You might be feeling like, okay, yeah, that's how you did it, but how can I do it? I don't want to make this like self-promotion thing, but my Manifest Magic course is all about connection, and it's also got a lot around kind of what I was talking about at the start, where we need to expect more for ourselves and we need to allow bigger and better things to come in. So that is one way. Another way is meditation. Meditation on reflection really is the thing that helped me connect most to myself and my higher powers. It's when I have felt so magical. I will admit I can't meditate how I used to. Through that disconnect I felt, which I started doing myself through blocking my intuition and my connection. But then, a while later, I got sick in pregnancy. I felt very low and very not myself. I can't meditate like I used to since all of that. But when I used to meditate, I could take myself to another planet, I swear. It was amazing. And I know I'll get back there when the time is right. I'm not putting pressure on it. But during that state was when I was my most powerful. I felt like I could take on the world. I felt like I could see things. I could clearly listen to my heart. I could see through that clarity. There were no blocks. I knew what I needed to do to make me happy. I knew what I wanted, and I could manifest so effortlessly. So I will really say meditation, huge one. I do have an inner child meditation which really helps with connection, which is in my Guide to Happiness course, and I do have an incredible connection meditation which is in the Manifest Magic course. The third thing I would say is literally just getting connected to yourself through things that you like doing. So things that light you up. Is it journaling? Do you feel alive when you journal and you're like, you know what, I'm letting go of this. I want this. I'm getting excited now. Here are my goals. Here are my manifestations. Or is it playing piano? Is it actually, ticking things off at work? Does that make you feel powerful and empowered? Find the things that give you the feelings that you want to feel. If you want to feel empowered, do the things that make you feel empowered. If you are manifesting to feel abundant, go and do the things that make you feel abundant. If you want to feel healthy, etc., etc. I think you get it. I am going to go and jump in the pool. I am dripping at the moment. Thank you guys for coming along for 2024's season of the Pass Around the Smile podcast. I'm jumping into the unknown. I do have some plans. I have some really cool episodes coming up that I know you guys will love. But beyond that, as I mentioned, I'm jumping into the unknown. It feels refreshing. Who knows what's to come? I just know it's going to be good and exciting, and I'm open to experiences and opportunities. Thank you, universe. I'm excited to see what it is. So I hope you can feel into that energy too. Get excited for what's to come because you deserve bloody good things. All right, have an amazing day or night whenever you're listening.